Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Filter. Today, I said this last time. The last time I had a guest with me, I was like, I have a very special guest. And I was like, wait a minute. I think I've said that every episode.
I'm special too.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, but this one's different because
the most special.
The most special. This is one of the closest friends I have. Her name is Lauren Schneider, and I love her so much. We connected on social media, and from there, it was like an instant connection. And we have been close friends since, so that was what, 2000? That was 2019?
It was a while ago,
right?
Yeah. Actually, maybe 18?
Yeah, maybe it was 2018, like going into 2019.
Because we had a couple of years of friendship before COVID.
Yes. Yeah. We did. Because
Right?
that's when we did all the blogging and influencing stuff.
Yeah, all the events. I was talking to somebody today about how we met, and you were one of the first people that started inviting me to things. And then that's how I got to meet business owners and other people in the space. So I have a lot of thanks to you for your friendship. And we met each other at a time when we needed each other.
I think so. Yeah. And then COVID happened. And then I think that made everybody like reevaluate their lives in general. And then like, I know like you have gone through some tough stuff. I went through some tough stuff. And so we're both finally at different, I guess you can say, paths and seasons of our lives for the better.
Yeah.
But there was a time where you and I both, like, we had to just deal with our own crap, or for lack of better words, we didn't want to deal with our own crap. So then we didn't want to deal with anybody. So, and no, most of the time too, Lauren and I always like super like fun and outgoing, which makes no sense.
Laughing
because
aggressively.
This episode is completely going to be opposite of what we normally are as friends.
But our friendship has both of those parts to it, which I think is one of the reasons to make it so special. We can have so much fun, but then we can also connect intimately, which creates that deeper friendship and that deeper connection together. So then we're able to relax and have fun together as well because we're comfortable with the intimacy that we've created.
Absolutely. What I was going to say, though, is I love our friendship because we can be really funny. We can be really serious. We can go with weeks and months not talking. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, we need to connect and we need to talk. And then when we get back to each other, it's like nothing changed. Nothing happened. There was a lapse, but not a lapse in our friendship.
But our souls are comfortable together and connect again immediately.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I love about us.
Amazing. Yeah. I left freaking TikTok on.
I know. I can hear it in the background.
I know. I'm like, what's going on TikTok?
Some lady. I didn't know you had two phones. Look at you, fancy.
Oh, this is an old
So what?
Phone. I can't even see. This is when you know I have problems, is because it's a regular phone.
I mean, has anybody ever done that?
No.
Like, why are these here?
No one's ever done that.
I mean, there's three of them. We could both have one and just...
Okay. See, this is the problem with Lauren and I. We just get off subject.
Hey, what's happening is what's supposed to happen.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
let's just go with it.
But so, yeah, we have those intimate moments and then we have our funny moments. But I really wanted Lauren to come on here because she has dealt with a lot of heaviness in her life. And specifically, we're talking on the subject of, basically, you don't want to be here anymore. And you're ready to just not live in this life, in this realm. And I know a lot of people who have had those same feelings. I've had those same feelings. We've all experienced it in some capacity, whether it's us feeling it, we have friends who have fallen victim to it, or family members. And so I know you have a really, really hard story that you've had to just really journey through. So I really feel like people can learn from you, from what you've experienced, and then how you have been able to move through life in terms of therapy and all of those things. So I want to backtrack first on, I know you had an experience. Did that come first? Because I know you had the experience at your work, and then you had your own experience. Which came first?
So the experience at work came first.
Okay.
And really at that time, I did not understand anything about mental health because I hadn't really dealt with anything like at this severity before. And so when I had a coworker who died at work, it was a shock to me. And it was someone that I worked a lot with. And so to try to understand all of those really confusing things, it made no sense to me, but it started affecting me deeply. Going into work, I had so much anxiety. Where it happened was very close to where my office was, and I had to walk past that.
So this person chose to do this at your place of work?
Yeah, right by my office.
And this was a person that you were very close with?
No, I was not close with him, but we did work sometimes together. And so it started affecting my anxiety, going on campus, going into my office, going to the bathroom. We didn't have a bathroom in my office, so even just leaving, my brain became obsessed with if someone else was going to do the same thing that he did, and if I was going to be the first person to see it or not. And so my brain became so obsessed with that all of a sudden I was not sleeping well. I was not able to work my best because my brain got sick from not going through and processing what I saw that day. And it wasn't
so just... So were you like the first, like...
No, I wasn't the first person to come upon the scene. There were I had some coworkers that were there. His wife was there. And I don't remember if police were there or not, but the scene hadn't been contained yet.
Oh my gosh. So you arrived to work.
So there wasn't caution tape.
Did you not have
anything?
Was there nothing that came out before? Like you arrived to work as like a normal day?
I arrived to work as a normal day. I think I saw maybe like some type of a police car or something, but I'm walking into my office, into the building, and off to the side, I'm seeing this situation. I'm seeing coworkers who are crying together, the school nurse, and I'm seeing his wife sitting there, and I'm like, what is going on? He must have had like some type of medical emergency. I hope he's okay. And I have a background in news, so I wanted to figure out what was going on. And I've since learned in therapy that I can do things to protect myself. And that was one thing that I probably should have just left campus and protected myself that way.
Yeah.
Because my curiosity led to me finding out that he was dead.
Okay.
And so it was in Marion County, and there's a website you can go to find out about police calls. And the police call said DOA, dead on arrival. And I remember my coworker Derek and I looking at each other and just being like, oh my gosh.
Was there a reason why he chose that space to do that?
I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of talk, but I have no idea. And I don't want to speculate on that.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely not.
So you come across this horrific thing throughout the day, and you're like thinking it's a normal day. It obviously does not turn into a normal day.
This was pretty quick.
How was everybody processing all of that? Like, that's just...
It was not good. So I ended up having to leave campus to run some errands, but another coworker, I told her, do not come. Stay at home. Do not come into the office. I'm going to come pick you up. We're going to run these errands together. We had an event that we were putting on at work, and my boss made it clear that work needed to continue getting done.
Are you serious?
Even as my coworker was being wheeled out on a stretcher. Yeah. So also I was kept in my office because I was told that we were going to be interviewed because it was a murder.
So they didn't even provide the right information.
Right.
Oh
so
my
God. I am
God.
petrified.
I feel like there's like so many things, like laws that were, or like work violations that could have happened in that instance. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if that's something that I should talk about.
No, that's fine. It's just so crazy.
There's just so many layers of trauma that happened to take it from not even a normal situation, but take it from the plain black and white facts to the trauma that I then had to work through. Because there were layers. It was at the school where this man's family had children. And so then I'm seeing the kids.
Wow.
I'm going to his funeral and seeing other students get upset that I see every day. And it didn't take me very long it took me a few months to where I no longer could handle it.
Wow. That's a lot.
I was having panic attacks. I was having crying fits because my anxiety was so bad. And so I hadn't dealt with it. And then shit really hit the fan. And I said, I need therapy.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was like that day or a couple of days later, but I immediately got into therapy. And am so grateful for that relationship that I have with my therapist. She is a parent of some of the students. So she came to campus immediately that day and started offering her services. And I just thought, I don't need that. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was not fine. I did not know that my brain would and my body would respond that way. And I have learned so much about mental health because of that happening, and have had then my own journey with being really dark. And now, after having pulled myself out of it, it's just been like I didn't realize how sick I was in those moments. And it was not me, it was not Lauren, it was my brain.
Yeah.
And I think for so long I didn't understand that. I thought like there's something wrong with me. I'm blah, 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 but it wasn't that, it was my brain. And once I could get my brain healthy, once I could get my brain the help that it needed, and it needed so much help.
Yeah.
There was one point in time when I was doing 3 different kinds of therapies per week to help my brain. Because that's how sick I was. And that's how scared I was for my own life. When you lose your sleep, you lose your mind.
Oh, yes.
And I had lost my mind. I had lost my mind to the point where I knew I need full force help. Like I need an army to help me because the things going through my head about me not wanting to be here anymore because I'm so sick because of what I saw happen, that is not the way I'm going out. Yeah. And so I fought, and thank goodness I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. How did everything, because, so you experience this and then you try to move on, you realize you need therapy, but can you talk about some of the specific things that you realize, like, holy shit, like I'm messed up right now and I need help?
Sure. So I witnessed a few car accidents around the time when after the incident happened at my work. And then before I went to therapy, I saw a few car accidents, like right in front of me. Like I'm talking like get out of the car, pull the person out, first one to call 911, like those types of things.
Wow.
My grandmother died. We had a dog run away. I had all these situations happen that led to aggressive panic attacks. And I no longer had the ability to control my emotions anywhere, anytime. Any place. And I would be driving and would just be sobbing so uncontrollably. And this started happening so often. And it started really having a negative effect on my life every single day.
Yeah.
And my husband had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. But every time something would happen, I could not handle it at all.
Wow. That's I don't think people realize how detrimental panic attacks can be to people because, you were there when I've experienced some of my worst panic attacks. And that's kind of where my thoughts came from. It was stemming from the panic attacks because for me, that I was going through my trauma and they were coming on so fast and furious. I just wanted it to stop.
Yeah.
And that's when the thoughts started coming in that I would be better off
not here
because I just wanted peace.
You want peace
and
so badly.
I wanted peace. And that's when I thought, this is why people think this. And that was the first time that had ever crossed my mind, because all I wanted it to do was stop. And I was at the end of my rope and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Because when the panic attacks start becoming not just like once a month that might be related to your period.
Yeah.
No, when they're every single day.
Yes.
And you can't hear one piece of information. You can't live your life without anything triggering you.
Yeah.
And you're being ruled by this thing. Like, it's oppressive.
It really is.
And when you are being bogged down, you just have this heaviness on you all the time. And then it's not just like the crying and getting it out. No, it's the brain feeding you all of the bull crap.
Yep.
While you're going through it. And then maybe you settle yourself down. And then for me, I would just be horrified by what I just allowed.
Yeah.
The hissy, I would call it a hissy fit. No, my brain was so sick that it would go offline. It would go offline. I wouldn't have access to how to care for myself, how to love myself, how to settle myself down. And it wasn't like, I needed the release of tears.
No.
No.
That's kind of this panic attacks. And I mean, those are two totally different things in terms of your reactions and your responses.
And not being able to settle yourself down as an adult is a feeling of having no control that is mind-boggling. Because we want to have control over everything, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you are so out of control. And so, those things happened, and I went through those things, and I just remember certain instances stick out to me as that was a really dark time.
Yeah.
And I went to visit some family in Wisconsin up in the North Woods. And I just remember being so disconnected from myself, from my brain, from my body, that I was like, I don't want to go home from here. I don't know what that means, but I don't want to go home. God, take me out. Please, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot have another night where I am up all night so mad that I can't sleep.
Yeah.
And I hadn't pinpointed, right, that my brain needed to process through this trauma. I hadn't pinpointed that at that point. But I got so sick.
Wow.
I got so sick until I finally was like, I can't handle this anymore. I mean, even one panic attack, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
If I have a panic, I haven't had one in such a long time. But if I had a panic attack right now, I would be like, okay, let's get through it.
Yep.
Let's let it out.
Well, yeah, now we know what to do.
And then let's get curious about it. What was that all about? Something is going on.
Yeah.
And I would do my best to figure that out. And now, after so many years in therapy, I can do that to myself sometimes.
Right.
Not all the time.
Most of the time.
Sometimes we need the help of our community to get through things.
Yes, absolutely. Those thoughts that you were getting afterwards about yourself, did they come often with you trying to go through therapy, or was it just a few times? Did you recognize it? What were your steps with all of that?
Oh, no, it was constant.
Really?
It was constant of, I don't want to be here anymore. This is too much for me. Something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. I am a burden. I was unable to function. I was unable to grocery shop. I was unable to do anything but sit on my couch and rot because my brain was always at work with how to protect myself, staying stable, all of these things that I had been through, that I had to just lay down and disassociate and give my brain a break.
Yeah.
Because my brain was always on overdrive, which meant I was so exhausted, I couldn't do anything else. And so that really created then more darkness, because I wasn't getting out and doing things that I liked, and I wasn't feeding myself properly. I have just recently realized, I met with my psychiatrist yesterday, and I gave her the update of the last 3 months and what I've learned and how much protein affects my emotions. If I wake up and I'm having a little bit of a dark day, and I've learned this year, 2025, so when it's the end of February, I have to eat in the morning. And that's not something I used to do. I have to have protein in the morning in order to be emotionally stable.
Is that something like for you specifically or in general? Is that something people should be aware of?
That is something people should be aware of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm finding that true about myself. I'm learning that about Corey. I mean, I talked to Dr. Cecil about it yesterday, and she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, some of us are still learning about mental health, and I don't know everything yet, but okay, thank you.
So that's one thing that you know that your body needs in order to be, trying protein. To keep up everything. What are some of the other things that you have learned with going to therapy?
So I need sunlight in my life so badly. Mm-hmm. And like today is a gray day. So what did I do? I sat in front of my little happy light while I had my coffee this morning, and I watched a little bit of a TV show that I'm watching. Mm-hmm. And I sat with my happy light for half an hour, and the research on that of how it really affects you and your brain is astounding. And I didn't know about that until going to therapy. But on those days where I could not be bothered to sit in my office in front of that, if it was a sunny day, I would just go out to Starbucks, or I would just go on a drive or something before I got my routine of working out down solid, which I now have done. And it's been a little over a year that I have actually committed to something. Like I came to some of your classes. Mm-hmm. I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I had been a competitive swimmer.
Yeah.
So all I've ever wanted to do is just jump back in the pool. But that just wasn't an option for me for a variety of reasons. And so now in the beginning, it was like having a reason to get out of bed.
Yeah.
If you don't make class, you're going to get fined. Mm-hmm. And okay, well, I better get there.
Yeah.
And now, a little over a year later, I know how much my brain, in order to stay healthy, needs that routine, needs that movement, needs that camaraderie with that community, but also needs that, there's got to be some type of a toxic release too when you're working out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there is. I don't know the science behind it. But
there is for sure.
And to see my progress too, to see how sick I was, not only on the inside, but on the outside, I did not know how to take care of myself. Mm-hmm. I did not know how to take care of my brain or my body. Mm-hmm. And now, 10 years later, I do. I really, really do.
Yeah, to see you work out and enjoy it, I'm in awe.
Can you believe it? Now, sometimes there's
she would
choreography.
And complain an entire workout, so much to the point where I'm like,
sometimes the choreography though,
her right now.
I can't do the choreography. I mean, there'll be little foot things, and I'm just I'm just gonna do a plank. I can't.
Let me just plank.
It's fine. But I could with the dance, I just couldn't do it. But I always had excuses.
No, but even when we did do F45 together, you still
I hated
would bitch and complain.
I wasn't fully into it.
Yeah, you weren't.
I wasn't fully bought in, and I don't know why, but I just wasn't. But now I am.
Yeah.
I didn't work out today because I went to the chiropractor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with myself? What am I doing with my body? I don't know. And I have to move now. Mm-hmm. And really, I've always hated February. It's been the worst month since when I got sick. And February's almost over. And I'm here and I'm doing really great.
Yeah.
I'm doing really great. Today, I started weaning off my mental health meds.
You did?
Today's the first day. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So all last year, I went with my psychiatrist through weaning down off of Prozac. I went from 60 to 40 to 20 to 10. Mm-hmm. And now I have a handful of pills left, and I'm
good for you.
Just doing 5.
I'm so proud of you because I know how hard it is to get move through all of that.
After doing so much therapy and then hearing from my therapist, okay, your brain needs a little additional help. Your brain needs the medication. I was so sick that I was like, fine, give it to me. I had never tried anything like it before, but I was like, I need additional help.
Yeah.
I know that I'm putting in the work, but finding the right medication was a nightmare. Was an absolute nightmare. And I got so sick from Zoloft.
There's so many medications I couldn't, when I was struggling to find which one was right for me too, the side effects for me were just awful.
Oh, I remember just being on my stairs and calling Corey and being like, something is wrong with me. I cannot get up.
Yep.
I feel very dark right now.
Yep.
I'm stuck on the stairs. And him being like, are you kidding? No, actually, I'm not. Something is wrong with me. And
that actually happened with me with Prozac. Prozac did not have a great effect on me. And I was like, I got very dark and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. What is my life right now? It was just really, really weird.
Yeah. And then I got laid off in 2020 and all of the work that I had done to find a medication to stay stable was no longer covered under my insurance. So I had to go through that whole thing again, which was a nightmare, but it was fine. And I figured it out. And thank God I did it with my psychiatrist, though.
Yeah.
Like, that was an expensive way to go about it, but I knew I was not messing with my brain again. I saw how sick my brain could become, and I did not want that ever again.
Definitely.
So, but last year I finally felt like the medication maybe was holding me back a little bit, which is such a feeling of freedom.
I bet. Because I know when I was prescribed medications, it was because I didn't have control of my emotions. And so it brought me down to a level to where like you can function and do everyday life because I was in a space where I couldn't do life.
Yeah.
And then now I'm in a space where, I've been weaning off some of my medications for my immune disorder, but I still have the mental one left.
Yeah.
And so I just ordered the new set of pills for me with minus 20 for the milligram dosage.
Did?
Yeah. So I ordered it. I haven't started it yet because I'm waiting to finish this one. So next month is when I'll start it. But I also feel like you have to be in a mental space to attack it as well because it's still a challenge.
To attack the titrating?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, I was talking to my psychiatrist yesterday about, okay, I did fine from 60 to 40, 40 to 20, I was fine. But in that 20 to 10, I was kind of emotional for a few days.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, what is wrong with me? I'm so unstable. And just feeling like, oh my gosh, what was that?
Yeah.
That was me. That was me, but my brain figuring out what to do off of less medication. And thankfully, I had those conversations with my doctor. I know what to do when I feel unstable like that, when it's just like a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
And it's not actually me as a human being. I know how to take care of this brain now. And that is, I mean, I hate what I witnessed. I hate how it affected me. I hate how sick I got. But now I have all of this experience and education about something that I never knew about.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I know obviously it sucks to have to move through such a hard situation in your life and then try to have to overcome all of it with all the trauma from all the things that you have learned, like not only like about yourself and the things that you have put in place in order to better yourself in this situation, but what are maybe some of the things if you can talk about when it comes to like relationships, like what have you noticed about yourself that either maybe like you needed to put some boundaries up or you realized some of the things that you were doing, they were kind of like maybe overlapping in how you communicated with people?
What do you mean?
Like because you were struggling or you had those trauma responses, were they overlapping into relationships, maybe into your marriage, into your friendships, into your relationships with your mom or your sister?
Yeah, sure.
Anything like that? Was it like, did you have a short fuse with people did you just the communication was just off or you didn't understand situations? Like, how did that affect all of that?
I think with Corey, I all of a sudden became so small and I did not know what was going on with me. So
what do you mean you became so small?
I shrunk as a person. My personality.
Because you have a huge personality and you're super outgoing.
My personality just shrunk and I shrunk.
Yes.
And I couldn't identify what was going on with me. So, of course, I couldn't communicate that with Corey. I remember one time he came to me and he was like, what is going on with you?
Yeah.
And he doesn't normally talk to me like that. And he sat me down and he was like, what's going on with you? What's going on with our marriage? What is happening? And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm sick. Didn't you know that? And him being like, no, you don't share any of this with me. You're going to therapy. You're doing the work, but you're not sharing it with me. I have no idea what's going on with you. And I was just like, oh, okay. So there's got to be a way for me to share these things with people in my life.
Yeah.
And like still protect myself. Because I think that unless I felt safe and understood and taken care of and protected, I was not going to like allow even my husband to touch that part of me.
Yeah. And also, was sharing kind of a trigger for you?
Yeah, sharing was definitely kind of a trigger for me. It was a trigger
for me for a long time. I couldn't talk about things because it just triggered me and I'd go off the deep end.
Yeah.
So then there's this total detachment with people.
Yeah, of like if I get into it, it could get bad and I want to protect myself, so I'm not going to get into it at all.
So we're just not even going to talk
about it. I became so good at compartmentalizing that it like I was healing myself, but then also like I was so far from everybody else, you know, and like sure I would have certain moments with certain friends or certain moments with family members, but I did not feel that emotional intimacy with my friendships. So I started just grabbing up friends.
Yeah.
I was grabbing up friends that I could have easy relationships with. And that's a way of disassociating. I don't think it wasn't harmful to me. I talked to my therapist a lot about ways that can be hurtful when you're disassociating and ways that are okay. And that was okay, but it wasn't like creating those deep relationships.
I was gonna say it probably didn't feel very fulfilling to have like more surface friends than the deeper ones.
And sure, some of those relationships at the time I really needed.
Yeah.
And really helped me at those times.
Right.
But then as I'm coming out on the other side of this, I'm evaluating some of those friendships too, you know, and I was unhealthy for a really long time, and now that I'm healthy, I'm able to look back and evaluate those.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it really is tough because you look back on it, and then sometimes I know especially with all the work that you have done with yourself, now that you've done all that, do you look back and be like, how was I that person?
Oh my gosh, I know.
Like, that was not me. Like, how did I even do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I've learned is that person is still inside of me and I have to protect her. I now know how to protect her much better than I knew how to protect her then. And I mean, sometimes like yesterday, I got upset about something. I saw something on social media and I got upset about it. And I had to mother myself through it. Okay, Lauren, what are you feeling? Get it out. You're allowed to feel that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to cry? Okay, let's have a little tear about it. That's fine. Let's feel through it. And I never talked to myself like that before. I never had that kind of care and compassion for me. I learned last year, 2024, how to have like an intimate and loving relationship with myself. Now that I have healed those parts of me that needed work, I then last year was able to like learn how to love myself again, this like new me. And I'm just having fun with that this year.
That's so good because I think people all the time like preach about loving themselves, but I don't think they take that additional work, that extra layer.
Yeah.
And like saying, okay, what does that look like for me?
Yeah.
What does that mean? No, it's not me going and doing a mask or something, you know, or having a self-care Sunday. Sure, like absolutely that's part of loving yourself, but like again, that's probably only a Band-Aid to a bad day or a bad week. Like what's underneath all of that?
Yeah. Yeah. Like these days when I get my feelings hurt, which I do.
Yeah.
I am not just going to freak out and have a panic attack about it because I have more control over my emotions now. And that wasn't just me saying to myself, okay, now I'm going to have more control. I'm going to control it more. No, it was years of work.
Yeah.
Years of work, and not just therapy, not just medication, not just X, Y, and Z, not just working out, not just eating well, but like really doing an overhaul on every single thing that I did and not having different things, reducing everything that I was doing in my life to full force heal myself. And sometimes that meant friendships.
Yeah.
And I really had to figure out that balance. Even with my marriage, I figure out that balance. You know, I mean, I was putting so much time and energy and effort into me, into my journaling, into my therapy, into my time with myself, into my, like, there was a point where I was learning so much about my brain. I was reading that book, The Body Keeps the Score. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I could just sit there for hours and read that thing and like learn about my brain.
Yeah.
And then I would just journal about it. I mean, this was last year. Mm-hmm. Finally, after doing the healing, learning about the brain that was so sick. And now I know how to take care of my brain.
Yeah. And you can educate people and empower people to do it, because I think there's so many people who've gone through like horrible situations, traumas, you know, all of that, but then still don't get to that point where they thought they've healed, but they're not taking like those extra steps.
Well, I thought I was there multiple times.
Same.
I was like, oh, I'm good now.
Same.
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
I'm
just
better.
kidding. Wait.
Now I'm better. Okay, wait. And so it's really interesting. I've been looking at things a lot in like 4 weeks, 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter. Like, what was this? We're almost in spring. Mm-hmm. So what last year in the spring, where was I at? What was I like? Oh my gosh, I'm better. Oh my gosh, I've learned more.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've this, that, and the other. And that is such an encouragement to me, because there was a point in time when it was so dark that my brain couldn't even comprehend thinking about the future. Mm-hmm. But now I get to continue learning, continue getting better, continue having fun and laughing and making memories together. Yeah. And I just feel so like abundantly grateful for the opportunity to keep living and like seeing what happens in life.
Yeah.
And there's going to be really horrible stuff that happens, but also there's really amazing, surprising things that are coming. And life is a roller coaster, and I now know that nothing can be truly as horrible for me in my brain, in my body, than what I've already been through. Mm. And I know how to protect myself from that.
Isn't that crazy that you go through, you know, pretty bad, horrific things, and then so now you come to a space where, you know, you've healed, you've done all the work, and then something else happens, but like your reaction is completely different, where like if somebody else would have gotten that same thing, they would have like gone off the deep end, and you're just like, okay, what's next? You know, like it's just like, and I've noticed that about myself recently, what I just shared with you. Like I could have like went crazy and went bananas, you know, with my current situation, but I was just like, okay, I'm going to handle it the way I've handled every other situation in my life. You know, it'll just pan itself out. There's no need for me to freak out about it, because I know what I'm capable of and what I can do. And I know there's something else, you know.
Which we are in such a different spot than we used to be.
I was just going to say, too, because like let me just tell Lauren, this girl, when I first met you, she was a firecracker, okay? Not saying that you're not a firecracker, but you were just so different. Your energy was different. Who you are, like your aura as a human being was just completely different. I see you now, and it's like, you're still a firecracker, but it's like, it is so just like more like calm and peaceful. And it's like, it's a different version of you.
Yeah.
Which is more like, I feel like more refined.
Yeah. And a little older, a little wiser.
Yes. And not older and wiser in a crappy sense, older, wiser in a like, you've learned so much.
In the best way possible.
Yes, and there's so much growth within you that it literally just pours out of you.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Literally.
And I'm so grateful for that. I needed that so bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was even journaling about that this morning. So I recently had a man who I used to work with say to me, when are you and Corey having kids? I have not worked with this man in 5 years.
And old Lauren would have been like...
I mean, I've been asked... Corey and I have been married for almost 14 years. Yeah. So I've been asked that a lot.
Yes.
And I was thinking about that this morning. Early this morning, I was on my way to the chiropractor. And I was like, okay, well, I wasn't ready, though. I had to grow up.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm 36 and don't have children, But like, thank God that 26-year-old did not have kids because I had so much learning I needed to do, so much growing I needed to do, so many things I needed to heal.
Yeah.
That I had no idea about, so many things I needed to dive into. And looking at who I am now to who I was, I'm just at such a different and better place. And I'm great. I mean, of course, everything I went through was a lot of hard work, but I am grateful for that because I now know that I can step into motherhood or whatever it is, ready and prepared and saying like, I think I actually could handle this.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time when my therapist said to me, you know, you guys are using protection, right? Because this is not the time. I am worried if you get pregnant because of your emotions. And I was like, what? You're worried that I wouldn't be able to handle it? Like my emotional up and down was so wild that she was like, you could not handle that.
Yeah.
That would be very bad. And I was like, oh, okay. Wow, you're right. Like, I think you're right. Imagine me with more.
Yeah.
No, that is scary. I would need to have like multiple people around me as like my handlers all day because I'm so out of control.
My handlers.
Like, someone to feed me, someone to make sure I'm like not shopping online, you know, like all of these things. Because I was disassociating like crazy.
Yeah.
I was eating, you know, just all of these, especially after my dog died, especially after Cheeto died.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Things were just not good. Things kept happening over and over and over again. And, you know, thankfully, knock on wood, things have happened, but it's just been different.
Yeah.
Like that thing that happened last year that we talked about, that thing that I was really excited about and thought was going to change my life and change the course of my career. And I was so excited about it. And then all of a sudden, poof, it's just, you know, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I had just such a different mindset about that whole 6-month process. And if that would have happened to me 10 years ago, oh no, I wouldn't have been able to do anything in those 6 months.
Yeah.
But I was able to keep living. And that's just a huge testament to the work that I've done.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
So snaps for me.
Yes, totally.
And for you. I mean, you've done the work too.
Yeah.
I remember sitting with you at a restaurant and you were telling me about your divorce. And I was just like, okay, girlfriend, we gotta saddle up because the hard times are coming.
Man, did it come.
Man, did it come. And I thought I was talking on the other side of it. I thought that I was like healed and good to go talking to you that day. Hilarious. Not even close.
We were like the blind leading the blind.
2020 hadn't even happened yet. Oh my gosh. And you know,
but we're both a mess in our own right.
I remember going to Nashville and just, there was a lot of stuff happening for you and for me.
Yeah.
And
it was crazy.
Man, we thought we were on the other end of it. And
we totally were. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, man, we were a mess.
That girl is kind of dumb. That's what I'm thinking about myself. But I mean, and then look, I can't talk, but in a year, we're going to look back and be like, can you believe that?
It's so true.
You know, I mean, that's why I'm so excited about life now. And especially to have somebody like you who's like seen me through it and we've seen through it together.
Yeah.
Is just, you never know when you're going to start a friendship with somebody where it's going to come to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And life is full of surprises. And that's what I love.
Oh, I love you. You're awesome. Seriously, if you don't follow Lauren on Instagram, I'll put all of your stuff when I put the email and the blog out. But like, she's hilarious. Her stories are even more hilarious.
I think I'm pretty funny, to be honest.
You need your own like talk show. Like, you need your own podcast.
I don't know what I would talk about.
You're just funny.
I just like to yap.
You've always just cracked me up.
I crack myself up.
Like, I'm always like, what? What? Did that just come out of her mouth?
Yeah.
Did she just do what today? But it's also good though. It's just like a testament to who you are and your personality and who you are like at your core. Like you still love life and you love people and you enjoy the little bits and pieces of life, like your plants.
Yes. I mean, when you've been through the worst, everything is joyous. Mm-hmm. Speaking of my plants, I just had to throw so many away this week.
Oh, no.
Because so many of them died. Aww. And like in the past, I honestly might have, it's just the amount. I might have cried about it. But I was just like, okay, all right, that's it. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the season.
Thank you for nothing.
You brought me in. Now that you really didn't bring me anything, you can go.
I mean, and in the past, it might have been something that really was tough for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And how great is that?
Mm-hmm. What do you have to say to people that have gone through tough situations and let's say they're going through therapy, but they're in it, but they're not really in it? Because obviously you've had those situations where you've done the therapy and you thought you were healed and then something happened and you're like, oh crap, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say invest in that one advisor. And if you're in therapy and you're not fully invested, like talk to your therapist about that, mm-hmm. Figure that out. Maybe that's not the right therapist for you, but keep going and keep diving fully in. For me, I had to find the balance of how do I inform my husband? How do I inform my friends? How do I inform my family about the growth that I'm doing, but also keeping them close to me, but keeping these things separate at the same time. And that was not something
that's a lot
that I did a very good job. I mean, well, I did a job at it.
Yeah.
I continued working at it. And that's something that you have to continue doing. But there was a point in time when I was talking to Corey and I was talking to my mom and then I was talking to my sister separately and then I was talking to a couple friends and just being like, oh my gosh, I need one person to talk to about all of these about these things. I can't be getting this opinion from this person and that person and this person and well this person believes this. No.
Yeah.
I streamlined my healing.
That's really good.
When I really intentionally said, Dr. Buckles is my one and only.
Yeah.
I fully trust her. She's got my back. I'm going to start seeing her weekly. We're going to get this taken care of. We're going to learn fast track. And then another thing I would say is if you are already on meds, but you're like, I think I need to increase. Mm-hmm. I just had this conversation with a friend. Before you increase your meds, get a workout routine down. Mm-hmm. Start doing something. Figure out what you need to get yourself in the door.
Yeah.
Do it. Before you increase your meds, get a workout routine done, period. And I wish that I had done that. I wish that back in the day when I wasn't sleeping, that I would have before going on Ambien, before going on that super scary sleeping medication that I'm still scared of to this day for years. That was so hard to get off of.
Oh my gosh, I went through that too. That's a horrible medication.
Horrible medication. Geez. Before going down that road, like start eating super clean as you can, and work out. And there are so many things, not just the therapy, not just the medication, but you have to remove things in your life in order to full force heal this. And I was able to do that. And that is like the testament of I'm so proud of myself.
I'm so proud of you for that too.
Because I did not want to be here for so long.
Yeah. Gosh.
And I'm here and I'm killing it and I'm loving it.
Yes, you are. Thank you for coming on here and sharing all that. I know it's I think sometimes like sharing those bits and pieces of ourselves, like it's good, but then it's also hard at the same time. But I feel like your story can resonate with so many people. And I know verbatim that there's women out there who have dealt with a level of trauma that has garnered that type of response. I'm one of them, you know, and to know that, you know, you are being kind of like a soundboard for those that are needing the help, that need to put the work in. And now you're seeing the fruits of all of that labor that you've done. And now you're like on the other side and it's awesome. And granted, you still have your moments, but you know, it's different now.
It is different.
Yeah.
And that is freedom. And that was my word of the year last year. freedom.
Ooh, do you have a word of the year this year?
Actually, I just came up with it today. Today.
Okay.
It is sound mind.
Sound mind.
Sound mind.
Okay.
Like, I want to have a sound mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's that song, too, Sound Mind. Have you heard that?
Mm-mm.
A sound mind for a spirit of fear.
No.
A sound mind is a Christian song.
I can look it up.
I think that's going to be it. But, like, I keep thinking to myself, like, what does it mean to be sound?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. But it came to me today. Isn't that funny?
I love that.
Because I was talking to somebody about it, or I said it to somebody a couple days ago, and then someone said it back to me. And I was like, that's a weird thing for two people to say.
Right.
And then I heard the song on the radio, or on the radio, on Spotify this morning. And I was like, okay.
You're like, that's it.
All right, universe, you got me. It's sound mind. What about you? Do you have one?
Where was it? I was talking about one that I thought probably should be my word, and now it's escaping me. I can't remember. It's not being persistent. No, it was something about like the growth stage I was in. Now I can't remember it. I'm gonna have to remember.
Do you want me to help you come up with it?
You want to help me come up with mine?
A growth stage that starts with a P. I don't know.
No. That'll be to be continued. I'll have to let you guys know. God. All right. We can end the podcast now. Okay, great. Thanks for coming on. I will make sure to have Lauren's information on the email and blog post so you can connect with her on social media. I swear she's amazing to follow. She's just awesome and makes me laugh every day. Just go to her stories. It'll be great.
We have a lot of fun on stories.
Yes. Yeah. All right. You can find more details online on my website at JohnetteCruz.com.